You have to be things like perseverance, how to be a good loser, how to be a good winner. You have to be, fully prepared, fully focused, having to knuckle down and push yourself to the limit to sacrifice and train hard so that you'll find success. Sports in general are good for people. They teach a lot of important life lessons. Sumo's a lot like that, but like most sports, but I think that the biggest difference or the biggest perhaps advantage that sumo has over other sports is maybe the mental aspect. You have to be, very nimble mentally, and you have to adapt quickly. So, those things play into all sports, but again, not having like periods or point systems or ways to basically adjust and come back. I think sumo really puts the pressure on you mentally to be prepared. And currently, because it's a novelty sport, it's not mainstream, it pushes being self-motivated as well. It's even harder to train in sumo because a lot of times you have to do it without the benefit of a coach or a motivator. And then, if you want to find success, a lot of times it takes some other sacrifices. You may have to travel quite a ways, or pay money for an airplane ticket or something to get to major events and things like that. So all those things I think are, they're all applicable in life. And once you if you can master it in a sport or anything else, it's pretty easy to apply those same experiences to anything in life. Well, it all started when I was a kid. I kind of always marched to the beat of my own drum, and there used to be an English language television show on late at night called Sumo Digest that I would watch during the summer. And it was, I always liked the fact that it was like the real big guys, kind of the best parts of football and wrestling. And at the time, the Hawaiians were doing really well, so it was like USA versus Japan. So I liked that. And then years later, and they had a small newsletter called Sumo Shimpo, and it was advertising a sumo tournament. And I thought it was like the big rubber suits or whatever, so I was like, oh, this is perfect. Me and my brother can go and have a good time, goof off or whatever. So I called for some information, and the guy told me they were like real, actual amateur sumo wrestlers. So I was like, I said, I'll do that, So I didn't have any practical experience with it, only what I'd seen on TV. So I was a little bit apprehensive maybe, because I was thinking I was going to be fighting guys who were like 400 or 500 pounds, but I showed up, and it was really an interesting mix of body types and athletic backgrounds. And I don't know, for me, I've always been very independent and adventurous, so it didn't really scare me so much as it kind of piqued my interest. And one of the most recognizable aspects of sumo is the sumo belt, the mawashi, and it's kind of sophomoric, but you can see the butt cheeks in that thing, and so I thought that was hilarious. I know a lot of people, they're very apprehensive or whatever about wearing it, but it just tickled me silly to be basically in front of a bunch of people with my butt cheeks hanging out. The other thing though was again, just being real competitive. I was excited to fight bigger guys and see if I could win, sort of the David and Goliath type thing. And I'm very confident. I really thought I could do well. And so besides just kind of that sophomoric attitude of having my butt showing, I was actually pretty stoked to fight some real big guys. When I first entered the ring, it's a weird thing. Like sumo's very much a mental sport because the actual physical competition is so short. It's you kind of have to, I don't know, you don't have time to adjust. Like say boxing, if you have a rough couple rounds, you can make changes or something. It's not like that. I wouldn't say that I knew I was going to win, but again, I'm fiercely competitive, so whether I win or lose is not so important. I just want to compete. But I think like a lot of serious athletes, I always kind of I don't think that I'm going to lose. I don't give people too much respect. I don't think that just because somebody else is athletically gifted or has been training for a long time that they're superhuman or anything. I think I have the ability, to at least be competitive. So I definitely wasn't nervous. I wouldn't say that I thought I was going to win, but I just, I don't know. I had a really good time competing. I just wanted to compete, and there was nobody there that I thought that I couldn't beat. So that, I don't know. It was just a hungry, happy experience, I guess. Prior to starting sumo, I was pretty young and wild, and it really helped me sort of focus on minute details because the matches are very quick. You don't have time to really adjust, and so you have to be observant. You have to be, learn how to be patient. You also have to know when to be aggressive, things like that. That sort of mentality really translated over well into other things, combined with my natural competitive drive. It helped me, stay focused on things like work, education, and I was able to parlay, I think, smaller aspects of business or education that I think are sometimes overlooked by other people into success sooner than what might normally be expected. So that's definitely been a benefit. I think probably the thing that I appreciate the most is probably the people that I've met. I've met some really unique people in sumo, great athletes, and I also really love the travel aspect. I've gotten to travel a good portion of the world for the competitions and other sort of sumo-related opportunities. So those two things definitely would be my favorite thing about the sport. Well, the sport itself is fun. It's unique. All sports are kind of fun. People, I think in Idaho, do well in sumo. We've had a lot of very good sumo wrestlers come out of Idaho, and I think one of the things that helps them succeed is the fact that it seems like a lot of Idahoans are very independent. They're hardworking, and that helps in a new sport because you need people to kind of trailblaze. There's nobody that's gone before you, and so that independent, hardworking attitude really pushes people to do their best without having to be coached or given, free things or perks or anything. And that mentality seems pretty prevalent in all the people that have come out of Idaho. They've really been self-motivated, and that's translated into a lot of success for them in the sport of sumo.